What's up, Internet? Welcome to Once Over. I'm Kaylee, and today we're going to be giving the once over to Blood Rage.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. I'd say that this big bird is ready for carve.
It's not cranberry sauce.
There will be spoilers.
The turkey was perfect.
Give it a good once-over.
Giving us the once over.
Giving him the once over.
Give me a once over.
Down to give us the once over.
For a routine once-over.
Once over.
Oh, just once over lightly.
That's right, the American Thanksgiving season is upon us, and there is not a single Thanksgiving season that I don't watch this movie. I absolutely love the heck out of Blood Rage, which is also known as Slasher and also known as Nightmare at Shadow Lake, but I think that most people at this point know it as Blood Rage. This has got to be one of the best Thanksgiving-themed slashers that nobody ever really talks about. And I don't understand why, because it's friggin' amazing. This movie was filmed in 1983, but it didn't get a theatrical release until 1987, and it was directed by John Grissmer, who actually just recently passed away as of 2024. He didn't really direct a lot of other movies. I think his only other film is Scalpel that he directed, but I think that he did such an incredible job with this weird twin-themed Thanksgiving movie that is gory and disgusting, and all of the joy that is my life. I am thankful for this movie, this Thanksgiving, and every Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Blood Rage, for being so lovely. The movie opens up in 1974 in Jacksonville, Florida, which does not matter at all, at a drive-in movie theater. I realized that I just said that John Grissmer didn't really do a lot of other directing, but I just realized that he is actually the producer and the writer of the movie that is playing at the drive-in, which of course is The House That Cried Murder, which came out in 1973, so great job for realism. It's set in 1974. Awesome job. Also, a little bit of shameless self-promotion. Who can hate on that?
He was a shameless self-promoter.
Regardless, we get the fact that this is an 80s horror movie right from the get-go, because this has a great little 80s groovy soundtrack, as well as a guy going to get popcorn during intermission at this drive-in, and he ends up going into the bathroom where there's a guy hustling condoms. The guy who is hustling condoms is actually Ted Raimi, who you guys probably all know is Tom Raimi's brother. Sam Raimi, you fucking idiot. So that was a fun little cameo, right?
This is going great.
Now you might be saying to yourself, well, what the heck does this have to do with Thanksgiving? And the answer is nothing, but it does have a lot to do with the feel of the movie. And this feels like I am in a drive-in theater. There are girls making out everywhere. There's kids smoking grass. We have all of the excitement of a drive-in right here in front of us, and it brings me back and it makes me want to go to more drive-in movies. There's not a lot of drive-ins that are still like this around. I know there's the Mahoning drive-in, which is probably the one that I would say most closely resembles this drive-in here. But I love going to drive-in movies and getting to check out films in them because there's just a different feel to it. I think we can all agree to that. Also, I thought that it was really funny because when all of these couples are making out at the drive-in, there is this one couple, and this girl is just totally me anytime that I'm at a movie. I'm like, don't bother me, please. Next, we see a couple that's like maybe a little bit older. They're definitely not teenagers, and there's a couple of kids in the back seat, and they're making out, and the kids are sleeping, but not actually sleeping, and they're like, oh, mom's at it again, gross. So as mom's getting a little hot and heavy with this dude, the kids sneak out of the car, and obviously, they're going to get into some trouble. Now, these kids are twins. We later find out that they are Todd and Terry. One of the kids finds this weird hammer axe thing. I have never seen this tool before, but it looks really convenient. And he ends up spying on another couple where there's a guy and a girl making out, and he ends up doing a little hackety hack. And yeah, that boy does not survive through that attack. No. This is a pretty brutal opening sequence, especially because we have a kid that is the killer. So there's blood on the popcorn. We get to see the huge, like, hatchet-faced eyes. Ugh, disgusting. And his girlfriend runs away naked, so we get to see butts right out the gate. What else do we want in an 80s horror movie?
And boobs.
Nothing. While this is happening, their mom realizes that the kids are gone, and she goes out to find them. And we learn that Terry ends up framing Todd for this murder. He smears blood on his face, and he's like, oh no, Todd did it. We then flash forward 10 years, and here is when we finally get into the Thanksgiving stuff.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Mom goes to visit Todd in the mental ward. She does this every Thanksgiving, and it turns out that Todd, who has repressed the memories of this incident, is starting to kind of remember things, which is starting to cast suspicion onto Terry. Mom treats Todd like a child, and he is basically catatonic, or at least has been for the last 10 years. In the opening kill scene, we get to see some amazing practical effects. This is where we get to see how great the editing of this film is.
My children are not guinea pigs.
My past work with hysterical patients helped me calm her down.
Moments like this one remind me just how much editing can make something hilarious. I just think that's great. It's funny. It's funny. The timing is impeccable. Since it's Thanksgiving, we know that there are going to be many Thanksgiving references in this movie, and this is where we get really our first one, because Mom brings Todd a pumpkin pie and he just smashes it with his hands, and it's disgusting. And it looks like probably the grossest pumpkin pie that has ever existed on the face of the planet. Pumpkin pie used to be my favorite Thanksgiving dessert. I used to just smother it in whipped cream. Now I'm kind of an apple pie gal. But I just can't imagine smooshing it in between my fingers. It feels icky. It feels icky to me. Now that we know where Todd has been for the last 10 years, we gotta kind of catch up with Terry, right? Terry obviously has been out, and everybody thinks he's the good twin.
I think I'll bottle feed that one.
Also, I'm pretty sure that every single girl that Todd hangs out with is just like nipple lady. There just so many nipples in this movie. The Thanksgiving dinner at their house is extremely eventful. The first thing that happens is Mom announces that she is now engaged to Brad, and that triggers the heck out of Terry. He does not like his mom's promiscuity. That's probably the thing that triggered him in the opening sequences when he was a kid, right? He does not like seeing people be sluts, I guess. He doesn't want other people to enjoy sexual activities, perhaps? And if that isn't bad enough, Mom also gets a phone call during the Thanksgiving dinner that Todd has escaped from the mental facility. Terry proudly announces that his psychotic brother is out now to everybody, but we all know that he's the psychopath, right? Also, he's definitely the psychopath because who in the fuck wears their tie like this?
That means the evil twin is, and always has been,
Terry?
On or off, dude. On or off. The way that this whole film is framed reminds me a lot of how Hitchcock used to describe suspense and tension. Hitchcock said that the public wants to participate in movie scenes. He said, "The audience is longing to warn the characters on screen. You shouldn't be talking about such trivial matters. There's a bomb beneath you and it's about to explode." And that is exactly what Blood Rage does. We all know that Terry is actually the killer and that Todd is probably the nice twin while Terry is the evil one, but nobody else knows that. And so now we're like, oh, well, I'm not so worried about the fact that Terry is on the loose. What I'm actually worried about is the fact that Todd's mom just got engaged, which is probably going to set him off on the crazy train again. Fuck. I just realized that I more than likely said Todd or Terry incorrectly at least one time during that, so yeah, maybe I should be referring to them as good and evil. I don't know. Todd and Terry, those are complicated names for me. Give me names that start with different letters, please. They're twins. I can't tell them apart. They're played by the same actor. Since Todd escaped from the asylum, his doctor, Dr. Berman, and her assistant, Jackie, come to the, little area that they all live in. Shadow Lake, I believe it's called, hence the other title of this movie. But they live in kind of like a little community sort of area that covers 10 acres of property. And so the doctor and her assistant go there to try to figure out where the heck Todd has gone, because it would make sense for him to try to return home to his family. Fiance Brad goes off and hangs out in his office while all of this is happening, and I don't know, if I was Mom, I would be like, no, you're staying with me physically because my psychotic son is on the loose and I don't know where he is and he could be coming after me and I'm just a little teeny tiny bit spooked right now, so maybe if you could just hang out with me, that would be great. But she does not demand that. Instead, Brad is consoling her on the phone and drinking a beer when all of a sudden Terry shows up behind him and cuts his hand off. Harry's back with the machete, baby, and he hates anybody who's making out. Gotta love the trope of horror movies that if you have sex, you're getting killed. Now, this kill is another really great practical effect. When the hand gets cut off, we see this huge blood spurt, and then we get to see the hand on the floor, like, grasping at the beer. It's still, like, twinging a little bit, and it just looks so dang cool. What an awesome, awesome effect. Yeah, it's a little bit hokey, but I don't care because I dang love it. You guys probably are just looking at kittens right now because the YouTube doesn't like blood so much, so I had to cover that up. But I assure you that it is really, really cool. At this point, Dr. B and her assistant Jackie have split up in order to go try to find Todd. Unfortunately, Terry finds both of them first. We're only about 22 minutes into the movie, and the next thing that we get to see is Machete going straight through Jackie's belly. Whoa! If you are a fan of the 80s kill after kill after kill after kill, that is what this movie is going to get you, all while making Thanksgiving puns. So it's just really great. Speaking of, while Jackie's getting killed, Mom is sitting on the floor eating leftovers like a maniac. She's having a full-on mental breakdown. Machete-clad Terry next finds Dr. B. I'm sorry, Dr. B. Dr. B gets completely sliced in half, like torso over here and legs over here. I love the effects of this movie. It's really, really cool. It looks awesome. It's extremely effective. I guess it doesn't really make any sense that a machete would do that, but I don't care. I don't care at all because it looks so rad. And again, Terry's kill count is just, those numbers are going up and up and up and up. It's pretty incredible. We're already at what, 4 or 5? And we're like 20 minutes into the movie, I guess. Do you think that there are more Thanksgiving references or kills in this movie? I'm gonna count. There are this many Thanksgiving references and this many kills. I knew it'd be kills. Terry is now covered in blood, and he gives the blood a little taste, and we get the first utterance of the most infamous line in this film.
It's not cranberry sauce.
We're gonna hear "that's not cranberry sauce" many more times. I believe 4 times it's said. Might even be more than that. Let's get a count of that right here. It's a great line. That is so perfect for a Thanksgiving-themed slasher film. Yes, yes. Blood is red, so is cranberry sauce.
No.
The cranberry sauce. What happened, man?
During the time that Todd has been away, Terry has obviously lived the last 10 years of his life, so he has an entire friend group. So now we get kind of introduced to all of his friends. First of all, he has a girlfriend named Karen. I guess I don't really know if they're boyfriend-girlfriend. She keeps being like upset that he's not giving her enough attention, but whatever, we're gonna call her his girlfriend. In addition to that, he has friends Artie and Greg. And this group of teens also actually meets a new neighbor named Andrea, so she's in the mix too. Karen ends up having an encounter with Todd where she thinks that he's Terry because, again, they look exactly the same. They're twins. Now, I gotta say, Mark Sopper, who plays both Todd and Terry, he did an incredible job. The main way to tell the difference between the twins is what clothes are they wearing, but I think that he really gave each character a unique personality, and that was very necessary for a movie like this. It reminded me of like one stamp down from Cronenberg's Dead Ringers, which if you haven't checked out my review for that, you absolutely should, if you like the twin movies.
Shameless self-promote.
Who doesn't like twins?
Back
Back at home, Mom is still going on mental breakdown, downward spiral. She is vacuuming the whole house because she just needs to keep herself busy. And Terry announces he's here.
He's here.
So Mom tries to get a hold of Brad, but we all know what's already happened to Brad. This is the point in the movie when they ask,
Should we call the police?
yes, you should call the police. Why are you not doing that? You're insane that you're not doing that. There's a psychopath on the loose. Call the dang police. Also, just to hop back to Brad for one moment, because I really enjoy his death, there's a time where we get to see him and he's like sitting on his desk like this. He's like doing one of these, but he's missing the one hand because it got chopped off. He's like covered in blood and there's blood spurts all over the wall. It's very, very comical scene for me. That's the type of humor that we need in this sort of slasher. It's supposed to be fun. While everybody's getting all worked up about the fact that Todd is on the loose and possibly dangerous, or I guess they all think that he is actually dangerous, we find out that Todd actually has kind of a sweet side because he discovers Dr. B's body and tries to put her back together. I don't think that it's going to work. I'm pretty sure that that's not how anything works, but he tries. It's a valiant effort. I would call it quite tender, that is, at least until he like trips over her a little bit here. Oops. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's worth noting. Now we have to introduce some additional characters because we need a higher kill count. So the next people that we were going to meet is like the slutty neighbor woman who's trying to get a new baby daddy, a rich baby daddy for her very young child. So we get to see her going on a date with this guy named Bill. Because of course we have to have two B names, Bill and Brad, just like we have to have Todd and Terry. Everybody loves to confuse me. Bill's name doesn't really matter. I don't even know why I'm mentioning that in all honesty. In any case, this little neighbor lady, she is trying to seduce Bill and she comes out in lingerie, but oh no, he is gone. She ends up looking out like the little peephole to try to find him and she sees him out there. Unfortunately, it's not his body. It's just his decapitated head being hung by an extension cord. It's beautiful. Another great moment of suspense here. She tries to run away and she's grabbing her coat because she's like in lingerie, so she's grabbing it, and all of a sudden Terry appears behind her and helps her put it on. She's fucked. So okay, this makes sense though, right? This kill, because again, Terry is triggered by people banging. So he sees that this MILF is about to have sex with this guy. She's seducing him, and he's like, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. Nobody is allowed to enjoy the sex. No sex for you. Back to all of Terry's friends. We get to see them all kind of interacting and ignoring the fact that there's a psycho killer on the loose. The kids are all playing video games. Greg and Andrea go off to play tennis. I don't even understand like why nobody seems to care about anything that's happening. Unfortunately for Greg and Andrea, they do end up getting a little bit closer. The two of them get naked together on a diving board, which sounds really scratchy and uncomfortable to me. Like, I just feel like that's not where I want my naked butt to be touching. Like they're like gritty. I don't know. You know what I mean. You know what a diving board is. I don't feel like that would feel comfortable at all. Unsurprisingly, Terry does not like this, so he finds them and slashes them while they are naked. Bad. We don't do that. At this point, surely Todd has realized that Terry is going crazy with a machete. So Todd is trying to be the good guy here, but everybody still thinks that he's the bad guy.
Oh, don't look so shocked.
Terry and Artie go on a walk over a bridge and they discover a bunch of blood-covered weapons.
That isn't cranberry sauce, Artie.
Terry takes this opportunity to stab Artie with a carving fork because it's Thanksgiving, so we have to use a carving fork.
That is not cranberry sauce.
Look at that, we got to hear "that isn't cranberry sauce" 2 more times.
Ah, cranberry sauce a la Bart.
I love it.
That is not cranberry sauce.
Artie is dead, Greg is dead, Andrea is dead. All we got left is Karen and Terry, and at least one of them is a murderer. So now Terry's got to get Karen, right? Obviously, that's the next person that he needs to kill. So she runs away from him. She starts running and screaming, and she stumbles across a whole bunch of dead bodies. And Terry is just laughing maniacally at that. Because he basically set them up in order to spook her. So he is just evil. He is the evil twin.
Isn't it interesting how the left or sinister twin is invariably the evil one? I had this theory that... Wait a minute.
Karen, still trying to escape from Terry, ends up breaking into the slut MILF's house. That woman's house. Bill's girlfriend. And don't forget, she had a baby, so now we get to hear the baby crying. So woo, things are going crazy. Unfortunately, even though Terry was behind her, he magically is inside and pulls the machete out of the woman. I can't keep calling her a slut. She just wanted a baby daddy. Regardless, the point is, how is Terry one of these magical slasher killers? He just like set up those body pranks so that Karen would freak out, and then he magically was inside of the apartment already freaking her out. He was helping the other woman put her coat on. Like, he's just one of those killers that can be anywhere at any time. He's probably behind me right now. I legitimately feel the need to look. I realize that that is stupid. Nobody's over there. Karen ends up grabbing the baby and going to run, but not before she gets a really good crotch punch in. It's a good one. I'm proud of her. Again, as long as we're making commentary about promiscuity, which this movie absolutely is, we might as well have the bad guy getting, his nuts smashed in. So what's Mom been up to during all of this time? Actually, before we talk about what she's been up to, let's just talk about the actress that plays her for a moment. She's played by Louise Lasser, and she does a great job in this role. She is kind of terrifying and is clearly experiencing mental breakdowns. But I do have a little bit of an issue with her, and the issue that I have is that she just reminds me so much of Susan Tyrrell that I just want Susan Tyrrell to be in this role. You might remember Susan Tyrrell from movies like Angel and Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, which if you haven't watched my review of that, you should also check that out.
Shameless self-promoter.
But Susan Tyrrell just has this like manic energy about her that just feels like it would lead really, really well to this mother figure.
She came by. She had to leave. She said she'd call you later. Here you go. Doctor says he's going to have lots of milk.
Also, speaking of Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, there's actually some milk drinking in Blood Rage also.
I guess the toast is in order.
Oh, a toast.
Why was everybody so obsessed with drinking milk in the 80s? I don't remember the last time that I had a glass of milk. Do you guys drink milk?
Got milk.
Okay, so what has Mom been up to? Obviously, she's been doing all of this cleaning. She's spent a little bit of time eating some food. But now she's starting to realize that something is going on because she finds Terry's blood-soaked shirt. And in addition to that, she finds Brad. Actually, when she finds Brad, we find out that not only did he lose his hand, but in addition to that, Terry split him down the middle. It's such a cool thing. I love this stuff, you guys. I love it so much. It's just so goofy. So we had one person who was split in half this way and then one person who was split in half this way. Fucking bonkers. And all on Thanksgiving. So we need to reach the climax of this movie. Mom is now realizing that maybe something is going on. Karen is running away with the baby and she ends up in this swimming pool area in the complex that they're in. And this is another one of those like mildly funny moments that I really enjoyed a lot. She's like sitting down trying to get a breath. She's holding the baby in her arms. And then Terry shows up like on the diving board. She's screaming, oh God. And it's just very funny. I really like that scene. Luckily for everybody, Todd shows up and he has very much become our hero character of the film. Perhaps because he is interconnected to Terry because of their twin relationship.
Twins?
But he shows up and starts helping to protect Karen, which is great. Karen ends up grabbing Todd's gun and she tries to shoot, but unfortunately, nothing, no bullets, something's wrong with the gun. I don't even know what's wrong with it. I guess it doesn't really matter. What does matter, though, is that Terry is going to throw Todd into the pool after this. Todd has, been in a mental institution for the last 10 years, so he doesn't know how to swim very well. So, Karen then has to rescue him out of the pool, which is just, it's funny. He didn't have a normal upbringing, so he wouldn't know how to do things like swim.
Help me! Help me! I'm drowning! Help me! I'm dying!
So Karen has to drag him out of the pool, And Mom shows up, of course, as well, because that's where everybody is. No cops have shown up at this point, but all of the main characters are there. All of the alive main characters are there. And thank goodness that Mom is there because she ends up shooting Terry 5 times and he ends up bleeding out in the pool. She begins consoling Todd, and the intention of this scene is that you think, okay, great, this is wonderful. She is being there for her son who she had, committed for the last 10 years. But it does get a little bit creepy before the final reveal.
Oh, I love you so much. I love you so much.
She's talking about how she just needs us. And it's just the two of them.
It's us again. It's us again. It's just us again.
It's the opposite of an Oedipus complex where the mom is so dependent on the son. There's got to be a word for that I just can't think of right now. What's that called? I don't know. Regardless, as she's saying this, she starts saying, it's just us, Terry. Todd is gone. And you're like, oh shit, she's having a damn crisis. She's never going to realize that Todd is the good one. So Todd's like, yo, I'm Todd. That's me. That's me. Hi. You already blamed me for everything once. Please don't blame me again. Because we're still at the swimming pool, we get all the screaming, like echoey beautifulness. I think it's a really wonderfully done final scene. And it ends with Mom shooting herself off camera. She can't live with any of the things that have happened. So instead, she leaves Todd to live with all of the things that happened, which is kind of shitty, you know.
Oh, what? Your mother of the year?
I wouldn't want to live with any of this. This sounds horrible. Your mom blames you for everything for your entire life. Your brother's a psychopath. Now all of the people that you just met, I guess, are dead. But like, how do you even go on at this point? Also, Karen doesn't die, but she's not like a stereotypical final girl. Like, we don't really get to see what happens to her because the last moment of the movie is just us getting to see Todd's face and we get to hear sirens in the background. So the cops are finally arriving, thank goodness. I think you guys can already tell that I absolutely love this movie. Again, this is I watch this every single year on Thanksgiving movie. I cannot get enough of it. I just think that it is super fun and really exciting. It has exactly the right amount of goofiness. It has exactly the right type of practical effects. We get to see all of the fun and excitement of 80s slasher films while being Thanksgiving themed, but not being so in your face about it that I'm like, okay, I get it, it's Thanksgiving. Instead, I just get to hear people talking about cranberry sauce all the time, and I'm totally fine with that. So yes, it is true. I love this movie. I am very thankful for it, and I actually give this a 7 out of 7 thumbs up. I bet you guys didn't see that one coming. Usually I'm like a 5 or a 6 kind of gal, but I love this movie. Every time that I watch it, I have more and more fun. I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it before. It is a barrel of blood, laughs, twins, Thanksgiving. I don't know. I love it. And I do have to say, I am not only thankful for this movie, but I am so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. And I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for existing in my universe. You guys make the world go round and you make me feel inspired to do more things. And I am going to get a little bit misty about it. So instead of doing that, I think that I might go watch Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
Because that also has a great cranberry sauce line in it.
I'm gonna drink your blood like cranberry sauce, meanie.
Thank you again. If you haven't already, I would love it if you liked and subscribed. And I can't wait for the next one. Bye. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving. Duh.
Uh.